Hello and welcome to a webinar from Linköping University. Today we're going to talk about our master program in strategic urban and regional planning. I'm Karina Skärberg, working at international student recruitment at Linköping University. First of all, some practicalities. This webinar will be recorded and will be available on YouTube as well as on our own website. The webinar consists of two parts. The first one is recorded, and the second one consists of a live Q&A session. So please wait till then and put your questions in the questions box. So, once again, very welcome. So, maybe you would like by starting introducing yourself.
Yes, my name is Kristina Trygg and I'm the program director of the master program in strategic urban and regional planning.
And you?
I'm Bruno. Hi. I'm a student at the program. I'm from Honduras. Well, I have a background in architecture and this is my first year.
Oh, lovely. So thanks both of you for being here. So if we start with some general information about the program. Kristina, what is the background to the program?
Well, the background, it's a newly started program. It's started in 2020, actually, and it's supposed to be, we have a bachelor in urban and regional planning, and we want this master to be something that the students can take from there, from a bachelor in urban and regional planning or similar that is more about strategic urban and regional planning. So it's more about management and planning, I would say.
Yeah. And what sets it apart from other programs?
I think that's just like what I said, that strategic part, that you can work more as a strategist or to plan ahead for the future, to get these complex questions and to be able to deal with them. And also that we have this kind of overall challenges with urbanization, globalization, climate change, digitalization, and also social inequality, that we want to have like a framework for the program and also the courses.
And Bruno, what was it that attracted you with the program?
Actually, this whole encompassing frame, I liked it because, yes, I had found into urban or the regional aspect, but the strategic part, I really was attracted by it, yes.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we should have a look at the curriculum of the program, see how it is structured. If we start by looking at the first two semesters, could you say something, Kristina?
Yeah, I mean, the first two semesters are obligatory courses. So you start off with a 10 weeks course that is mainly to get all the students that might come from different subjects to have a bachelor in different areas to get them on the same level, as to say, about the strategic urban regional planning. So we have more, in the beginning it's more theoretical, and then we do practical work with a living lab in the first course to get its group work, and they will work with this together in smaller groups. And then we have, for the two semesters, we really want these grand challenges to be evident in all the courses. So the next course is on planning and public administration, and we think that it's very important to understand public administration in planning and policy level, and also in different levels, of course, but to have this. And then we go on with the climate change course, as we can say it, and then it really goes on to this and end with some method course for the thesis work, actually. Yeah.
So you have also some choices you are going to do for the second year, if I understand you correctly.
Yes, exactly. The second year we have devoted to that you can specialize in different courses. And these courses you can choose of can be either at our department or another department. So you can choose from different ones. And also you can do internship for half of the semester or the whole semester. And you choose by yourself what internship you want to do, and you apply as you apply for a work. It's part of this course. And also you are supposed to be at to do an internship and do some small works during that time, or you can study abroad.
And what are your plans, Bruno? I know you've only been here for a couple of weeks, but have you already started thinking about the second year, what your plans are for the third semester?
Yeah, it's interesting because even though, yes, as you say, we've only 3 months until now, but it's interesting how from the beginning you get to understand how broad, I mean, the opportunities are. And you get to be introduced to the whole program since the beginning. And you get to start to decide what you like from it. So from my point of view, I would really like to understand how things are done here in Sweden, since it's so different from my background in Latin America, right? And also how, the sustainable culture that Sweden has. I would really like to understand how it relates in the work environment. So an internship would be my way.
When it comes to studying abroad, are there certain countries where you have more links to?
No, I mean in Europe, of course, it's. But actually, we have students who is in Canada and in Seoul this year. So it's different. It can be anywhere, basically.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
And when it comes to industry, I'm thinking if I move here, do my masters. Can I find a job here afterwards, actually? Is that possible?
Yes, it's possible. And we have students who have an exam from us that's working in the region, at the municipality or in the county. And also you can work at private consultant companies and different organizations, I would say. You can work for an UN, of course, but it's not in the region, of course. But you can both in the region or both in Sweden, of course, but also abroad.
So there is a good possibility to get a job if you want to stay here afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So now that we've looked at the curriculum, if we go into a typical week, if I'm a student, what would it look like when it comes to the schedule? Could you start maybe, Bruno?
Yes. Well, when we get here, I mean, it's different from what experience I had in my bachelor's, right? Because you have this fixed schedule of classes you attend to, and then you go and do the assignments. But I like the approach that we get here at LIU and at the program, because we have maybe 2-3 lectures during the week. We have a seminar when we all take part of it. Actually, they're usually student-led, right? So it's interesting how you get to build up on what you have read and learned at the lectures. And so we have a lot of time on ourselves, but to study. So there's a lot of readings to do, right? And also I like it that it's very research-oriented. So you get to read and to know what's going on currently at the moment in Europe, in the world. And then you get to construct on that on seminars and or on the group works that we do for the courses. Yes. So there's a lot of free time, so we can have a
so the free time is not actually free.
Exactly.
It's study time. Yeah.
Exactly.
So could you add something there?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of both individual work as yourself and to study on your own. Yes. And we have a lot of instructions for that. So like a study guide and also reading instructions beforehand that you can, so you can be ready for both lecture and seminars. And also that we have a lot of group works. So you need to kind of work together in the group. And then the examination is different in every course, and it can be a different part of an examination. So one part can be the group work. So that's also important to remember, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if we talk about challenges, you've been around for a couple of years. What are the common challenges that you realize that students might have?
I mean, sometimes they are coming to us and don't realize how much they need to be able to discuss and talk in seminars, and that we really have like an open floor, I would say, that you really can discuss, and some students are not used to that, so they sit very quiet. But I mean, part of the examination is to be able to talk English and to present your work, for example, and sometimes it can be to present for an external person that comes in from the municipality, for example. So you really need to be able to talk in front of people, different kind of people, both teacher and other persons, because and also to be able to write, of course. We have a lot of examination writing assignments and so on.
And Bruno, what's your experience so far when it comes to challenges?
Well, it's true. It's a lot of writing, yes. Yeah. But it's actually interesting because I think that's the way you get to develop your ideas, and that's an interesting part as well, because at the seminars, yes, sometimes the teacher even doesn't intervene at all. So it's mostly we students that have to build up on the subject that's being dealt with. And yes, well, the English part, it might be a challenge, right? But it's also an opportunity, because that's how you develop, right? I mean, your presenting skills, your writing skills as well, and it's a different level than previous studies, right? And bachelor's, and then prepares you, I think, for the future work or PhD. So you get this more skills on your.
You have to be very proactive. Yes. Yeah. Take initiative yourself. Yeah. Participate actively.
Yeah, and to be able to criticize kind of what you're reading and what you think about it, and not just get everything and think that it's right all the time. It's also different.
Reflect.
Yeah, to be able to reflect on that.
Yeah. And the second year is finalized by your thesis. Yes. How early should a student start thinking about the thesis project?
We want the students to start to think about the thesis in the last method course that we have at the program. It's the very last on the first year, the second semester, and there we introduce the thesis, and the course coordinator from that course is coming and introduce and start to talk. And then you can actually also have in the third semester special readings, for example, in that, and there you can focus on things you want to be able to develop before the master thesis. So I would say it starts early on, and we really think also, if you do an internship, for example, might think of, is this something I want to develop during my master thesis? Some students also have like different actors that they work for during the master thesis. But of course you need to do a really academic thesis, so that's also something to think of course. But we have, so the master thesis is very important, I would say, but you can choose here and also develop what you really want to focus on in the future.
So you have both a supervisor at the university and one at the company or organization where you're doing the thesis.
Yes, if that's
a choice.
Yeah, but you always have a researcher from us that is the main supervisor. That's you need to have that.
Yeah. So when it comes to the target student or the student we'd like to see in the classroom, we talked a bit about English. You can sometimes you show it by taking an international test such as TOEFL or IELTS. But you don't only have to take the test, you also have to be there in the classroom. That is what I understand for you. Yeah.
So you need to be present, and also we want the students to have a background in urban and regional planning, for example, or similar, and that goes for like human geography, global studies, architecture, economics, and so on. So it's different subjects, I would say. So not only planner.
Good that you're pointing that out, because that is often a question I get.
Yeah.
Well, this equivalent, if I don't have done urban and regional planning, what else could I have as a background? So
Yeah.
architecture, geography.
Yeah, global studies, for example, environmental studies also, for example, and so on. So there are, if it's similar, and often we say that social science background, it's easier.
Yep.
But I know that you have a technical, for example, so so it both goes. But
So there is an enrichment in the classroom, you would say. You do appreciate having students with
Yeah.
different backgrounds.
yes, exactly. And also before you come to the program, I send out information that if you don't have a background in planning, you can have a look at these readings beforehand if you
Okay.
wish. It's not obligatory, but it's just to help everyone to get on the same track, I would say.
Lovely. So before coming here, Bruno, did you read a lot about student life in Linköping?
Actually, well, it's interesting this came up because yes, I remember when I was accepted, right, and then I started getting the information, and it was very helpful because in my background, usually planning and for series is for the technical part, architects, engineers, and it's interesting to see that here. I mean, it's more open, more broad, political sciences, economy, social, and so as you said, there's a very interesting richness in the classroom. So yes, the readings was very helpful to come here and to get along with what we were going to cover, and also it was very good. I think that I got to start reading on the Swedish society and the Swedish way, because I got to understand many things when I got here, to know what was going on, and to avoid maybe any further complication, that the accommodation thing or these kind of things that you really have to prepare for them beforehand. Yes.
And one way could be to read our international bloggers or follow the Instagram account, because there they tell a lot of what is happening here as a student. There's also actually a podcast, Fika with Us, which handles subjects every second week. So, why actually did you choose Linköping in the first?
Well, it's interesting. Well, the program was what weighed the most, right? Because I think it was so encompassing, so broad. And one friend asked me how did I like it so far, and my answer was that it was basically a program that covered everything I have been interested in life until now. So yeah, it's the program itself is very, very good. Linköping, well, I like it that it's a city that it's not too big and it's too small. So it's just, I mean, like the perfect place to learn how to deal with a city, how to learn how dynamics of your banner work. It's a gorgeous city. I mean, it's so nice, and it's close to, I mean, everything. Stockholm is 2 hours train. I mean, the south as well. I mean, it's a very nice place.
Have you got a bike?
No, because I live a little outside of the city.
Okay.
So I get to experience the countryside and the city. It's nice, actually.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. Because most of the students, they live in dorm rooms really, really close, kind of 7 minutes by bike. So that's why I was wondering.
No, but true, yes.
So what could you say about student life here? Have you experienced any part of the student life?
Yes. Actually, right from the beginning, that's also something very nice from Linköping University, because there's a lot of activities in student life. The students' associations, the sections, I mean, they welcome you. They prepare these different activities for you. These traditional university activities like sittings that are very nice dinners, right? And I mean, there are parties organized. But the main thing is that you get, since the beginning, you get to connect with your classmates. You get to make friends, and that's a very good way, I think, to get on track and to have someone to consult. I mean, how have you dealt with this? I mean, even you make Swedish friends. I mean, how are things in this sense here in Sweden? So right from the beginning, it's very nice how the university and the students welcome you. Yes.
Okay. Nice to hear. So how large is the class size actually? We haven't mentioned that.
It's between 20 and 30 students, I would say. It has been for a couple of years now. So yeah.
So quite small then compared to certain other countries. Yeah. Thinking back, is there something you really wished you'd known before coming here? Like you tell any future applicant or interested student?
Well, to be honest, this platforms, webinars, the university social media, and all this, I think is very helpful because actually I got to know almost everything I needed to know. But what I could say is maybe that I should have paid more attention to some things. Like for example, the accommodation, yes.
Accommodation is important,
I would say yes. If you're planning to come to Linköping, or you would like to come here, start from now looking into accommodations, getting to the queuing system, right? I mean, where you go into this online platform, sign in, and you get 1 point for every day that passes by. And when opportunities open, then you have enough points to get the contracts. And also maybe the cashless society, I think it's something good to keep in mind. That really, Sweden is a cashless society, so it's good to understand how that works. So you can fit into it.
Accommodation is actually quite often a question that we get, and start thinking about it early, as you said.
Yes.
Register maybe online.
Yes.
It's not costly. It's free of charge actually.
Yeah,
So register as soon as possible. You start gaining queuing points, and the more queuing points you have, the better are your opportunities in your life when they open up.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So that is one of the main things to think about. And also, of course, the personal number. Apply for that when you come.
Exactly. Yes.
And then you go to the bank.
Exactly.
And when you have the bank account, then you're settled.
Exactly. Yes.
And then you can start using the cashless society.
Yes, exactly. That's true. Yes. I mean, start on time. Yes. Don't leave everything until the end because there's several things that you have to take care of, and it's a process, right? I mean, one thing leads to the other.
Yeah,
so you have to start on time. Right at the moment, you want to come to Linköping, you start or processing everything. Yes.
Yeah. So now I think we've come to an end for those of you who are watching this recording. Thank you very much. And we will, in a few minutes, continue with the Q&A part.